Hi there, I'm Angela Brown, and this is Ask a House Cleaner. This is a show where you get to ask a house cleaning question, and I get to help you find an answer. Now, today's question comes from a house cleaner who got to a customer's house, and when she got there, she discovered that the white carpet in the living room had a red wine stain on it. And next to the red wine stain was a little bottle of cleaning chemical that you put inside a steamer that you rent from the grocery store. So the house cleaner is like, what on earth am I supposed to do? I don't have one of those machines that I've rented from the grocery store. I don't have one of those. The second thing is the customer never expressed to me that she wanted me to get rid of the red wine stain. The next thing she discussed is that she's fired lots of her house cleaners in the past for not meeting her expectations. And then number four, this is not part of my routine cleaning, and I did not give this woman a price for removing wine stains. Number five, I don't even know how to remove a red wine stain from a white carpet. What on earth am I supposed to do? All right, that's a really great question, and the answer is you already did what you were supposed to do. You stopped. It would be really easy to assume that the customer wants you to remove that red wine stain, thus they left you the cleaning chemicals to do it. That's what we would assume, right? All right, well, that is a covert contract. And what we don't know, and we'll talk about covert contracts in a minute, but what we don't know is this. The customer could have had a red wine stain on their carpet. She could have asked her husband, hey, do you know of any solutions that remove red wine stains? He went to the grocery store. This is what he found. He left it in his car. Now he's getting ready to go to work this morning and he sees this stuff. Oh yes, I'll just run it inside so my wife knows that I picked this up. He runs it inside. Instead of going all the way into the kitchen, he leaves it right there in the middle of the living room floor. Okay, that could have happened. The next thing that could have happened that we don't know is maybe the woman already tried to remove the wine stain. And when she didn't know how to do it, she called a professional carpet cleaner and said, hey, listen, I've got this red wine stain in my white carpet. What on earth am I supposed to do? And the guy said, that's okay. We'll come over tomorrow after your house cleaner leaves. Leave on the carpet the bottle of whatever it is you tried that didn't work. And so she left that bottle there for the carpet guy that's coming this afternoon. See, we already don't know at all what's going on. So the covert contract is this. We walk into a situation and we see something, and based on our information, we jump in there and we make assumptions. We assume she's leaving us a hidden or a covert message to clean the carpet. Now, the word covert means hidden or undercover or not apparent, right? This is a contract where we now think, well, if I don't clean the stain out of her carpet, she's going to fire me like she fired all the other house cleaners. Okay? That's a covert contract. And don't participate in covert contracts. Don't do this in your business. Don't do it in your personal life, because it will absolutely make you mad. It will make you so crazy when you walk into a scenario and you think you know what's going on and you have no idea. All right, now teenagers are excellent at covert contracts. Okay, they don't communicate very well because they don't have a lot of life skills. And so, for example, your teenage daughter one evening starts washing the dishes. As a parent, you think, oh, wow, look, we've turned a corner. My daughter is here helping out. That's not what it means at all. In the daughter's mind, she's thinking, if I wash these dishes, my mother will then let me go to an unchaperoned party on Friday night. What? How did washing dishes get connected with an unchaperoned party on Friday night? Where is the correlation? And so come Friday night, your daughter's like, hey, I'm going to this party. And you're like, oh, no, you're not. Oh, yes, I am. I washed the dishes the other night. What the heck? See, the covert contract makes you crazy because one person does something and they're expecting some kind of a result. And you can't give them the result if you have no idea what the contract is, right? You can't do that. So if you're in a customer's house and there's a bottle of stain remover next to a stain that you have not even discussed, you are a fool if you try to remove that because you have no idea what happens next. If you try to remove the stain and you make it bigger or you make it worse, this customer who has fired her other house cleaners not only can fire you, but she could sue you for ruining her entire carpet. If you left the stain as is, it's possible the carpet guy could come and cut out the piece of carpet, put another one in, and it's not a big deal. But now you're up for a lawsuit, or you got to tap into your insurance to replace the lady's carpet because you thought You knew what was going on. Okay, let's change the story again just a little bit. There was a window of time I was single. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I look like the kind of girl that guys would want to write a poem for. I don't know why, but apparently I am, because I got a whole lot of poems. There's nothing more uncomfortable than a guy showing up and handing you a piece of scribble and you can't read the handwriting, and then he gives it to you and you're expected to read it and then show some kind of reaction. So the easiest thing to do is like, no, you read it to me. Then he reads it to you, and that's even more awkward because now he's performing it, and he's performing it with emotions. And usually these are guys you don't even know, like second, third date kind of guys, right? Now they're pontificating their words that they've put together. And we're not talking sonnets by Shelley, okay? We're talking guys that on their free time play Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. And now they've written you some kind of poem, and you're expected to respond. Like, what am I supposed to say? How am I supposed to respond to that? What comes next? So it gets to a point where you just know covert contracts, okay? For me, I said no poems. Poems are a deal breaker. If I agree to a second date with you and you show up with a poem, I turn and I walk out the door. I am not doing the poems, okay? And I have to make it very clear up front, these are covert contracts, that there's something expected at the other end. I have no idea what comes at the other end on a second date from a guy who writes me a poem. I don't even know this guy, let alone know how to read his innermost thoughts. And for the most part, I'll be honest with you, they did not articulate their thoughts very well. No poems, okay? No unchaperoned Friday night parties. No wine remover, okay? Unless it's been very specifically clear what you're supposed to do, don't do anything. Contact the customer and say, listen, trying to read your mind here. There's a red wine stain, that part's obvious. Next to it, there's some cleaning solution. That part is not so obvious. This belongs in a machine I don't have. We never discussed this. I never gave you a price. I want to meet your standard of excellence, and I don't know what the excellence is right now because I don't know where the stain came from, and I don't know what your plans for this stain are. Could you please clarify? That's a very honest question. And when you bring it right back to the customer, you're throwing the ball back in the customer's court. What you're saying is, I'm not going to play this game, and I'm not going to try to read your mind, and I'm not going to try to second guess whatever it is that's going on inside your head. The customer can't fire you later on for not having the conversation. And she can't fire you for screwing up her floor because you didn't touch it, okay? But if you jump to any conclusions and you try to fix this problem without clarifying and 100% understanding on both parties what exactly is supposed to happen, it harms you both. It harms you both. That's how covert contracts work. It harms you both. So if in your life you come across a covert contract, and like I say, if it's in your personal life or if it's in your business life, because employees are really good at this too. If you don't clarify exactly what's going on, it harms you both. So just come right out and go, oh, you mistaken me for the guy that reads minds. I don't read minds. You're going to have to just use your words and tell me exactly what you mean. Oh, okay, I get it now. All right, cool, I can participate. You see? So say goodbye to covert contracts, because like I said, they will make your life crazy. And if you walk into a customer's house and you see a wine stain, call the customer. Do not walk into that and do not make any assumptions. It's bad for both of you. Alrighty, so that's it for today. And until we meet again, leave the world a cleaner place than when you found it.